I've just had something to eat. I've just literally had some crumpets. So, welcome back to another stream. We're doing a weekend, this weekend's Antics, um, this weekend. So, this is the first time we're doing this weekend's Antics in the new house, or should I say, in the new flat. So, um, yeah, so welcome to this weekend's Antics. So we have a couple of things to discuss about before we go on with this weekend's Antics, because there's a couple of bookings that no longer happened, that I no longer attended, and I need to kind of address them because I didn't address them sort of when I should have done, if that makes sense. So um, yeah, so last weekend, so not the one that's just gone, the weekend before, I was supposed to be in Spennymoor, and I was supposed to be doing an event. I was supposed to be playing a bounce set, and unfortunately, I could no longer make the event. So my driver, so originally the layman was going to drive me, and then he got a booking that essentially came in, so he couldn't drive me, and then my other driver, the other person who was quite up for coming to the road trip, he fell down in bed with like a big sickness bug, and he was kind of like bedridden for days, and he couldn't get out of bed, and couldn't do his usual things. So in the end, with me like moving into this place, because the Monday after that week, after that weekend of the gig, I was moving in here, so it just kind of like really made sense that I just didn't go to the gig, unfortunately, just because things happened, and I just thought it's just going to be a little bit too much when I'm moving, so I just unfortunately couldn't make it. Now we move on to the weekend that's just gone. So the weekend that's just gone, I was supposed to be gigging in Manchester, and the gig itself actually got cancelled. So here's a funny story. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of the backstory as to why this gig got cancelled. So first off, you might remember that I got booked to do an event in Doncaster at Storm nightclub. Well, Storm nightclub actually shut down, and that gig was supposed to be this weekend coming. It was supposed to be on the 30th of March, and the venue shut down, which was unfortunate. And then a guy called MC Carlos decided, why don't sort of the, we kind of do something alternative for my birthday, and kind of put the event on the week before, but do it in Manchester instead, at a place called the Zombie Shack. So we did that, and everything was all fine and dandy until MC Carlos, for whatever reason, ended up getting arrested, and he's now in prison. He's now serving a prison sentence, and the event could just no longer go on a solo basis with the other promoter just kind of doing it on his own, kind of thing. And certain DJs that had agreed like fees with Carlos and stuff, it just couldn't be done. So it just made sense to cancel the event. Hello, people. So yeah, the event got cancelled, and I've just been so busy with the move and everything. I just haven't sort of like had chance to come on the lives and kind of like talk about everything. Get cancelled gigs and stuff. So, with that being out of the way, let's talk about this weekend's antics, and we have a good one. We have a really good, we have a really strong this weekend's antics. So we'll start off with Friday, because I think Friday was kind of like To me, Friday is kind of where the weekend starts. So Friday was a very busy day for me because I had some things to do with the social worker that is kind of like my allocated social worker for while I'm living in this place, if that makes sense. So we had like a support form to fill out, and that is just basically, what do I kind of want to get out of living here? Because although yeah, this is all like kind of fine and dandy, and it's your own flat and it's a really nice place. There's still like goals and targets that I have to meet, and there's things that they need to help me with. And unfortunately, as much as I love this place, there will be a time that will come in years to come where I will have to look, you're ready to move on now, you're ready to go into your own place, that isn't like a supported place, where you'd pay like all your full bills and prices. And I mean, some people who need that support, like they stay with Riverside for years, but they do kind of prep you and say, what do you kind of want to get out of life, and where do you want to see yourself? And obviously, I see myself being independent. I see myself, having my own home or something at one point, like a house or something. So, we have to do that, and then they can support and help me with various different things to help me meet them targets along the way. And then when I moved in to this place, I got what's called a White's Goods grant, and essentially I got like a small amount of funding just to be able to get like a cooker and a fridge and stuff. So the cooker had already been ordered, but the social worker very kindly took me out into town, and we went to some like furniture shops to have a look for some like fridges and stuff. And I ended up getting a fridge which was needed, and I got a little sofa as well, which that didn't come, that wasn't out of the funding. I chose to get the sofa myself because we didn't have enough funding, unfortunately, with with what we'd spent on the fridge. So I had £20 of the funding left, or should I say, I think I still do. Oh, pardon. Oh, I just had a right sneezing session. Um, yeah, so I got the fridge, and then I decided to get the sofa myself. So they're getting delivered tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. It's been a little bit difficult not having a fridge. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've managed better than I thought I would have managed, but like, it definitely just shows like sort of how important a fridge is, and how important like a cooker is in your life. Like, sometimes we take things for granted, and then when you have to go through that sort of not having them, you do actually realize like how much you need them. And like, I've been impacted in what food I can buy and what food I can't buy, because can't buy things that you cook in an oven because I don't have an oven, and I can't buy things that you'd put in a freezer because I haven't a freezer to put them in. So it's very limited. Like, I could buy like one frozen microwave meal as long as I was going to like eat it as soon as I got home. Which is I did that with a lasagna last week. I bought like a big lasagna that you could microwave, but it was like, you keep it in the freezer. But like, I bought it and like cooked it there and then because I needed to, because I couldn't physically not cook it, if that makes sense. you know, like, I couldn't leave it because like it would have gone off or something like that. So I had to like cook it instantly. So it's been a challenge, but I definitely managed with it a lot better. Than I thought. So the fridge and sofa comes tomorrow. So we sorted all of that, and then I went over to work. So I was doing some extra hours at work, and that was just how it always is. I enjoy it. I don't love it. It's just like extra hours. Like, I enjoy it, and like I'd like to keep doing it. Like, I enjoy it enough to keep doing it, but I don't enjoy it as much as my actual doing the youth music stuff, but I do kind of like doing it on the side. It's a little bit different. It's a change. It's a bit fun. You don't know what you're gonna run into. Sort of every time you sort of clock on to do a shift kind of thing. You know. So it's like working in like a youth centre. Like kids come after school and they can play like pool and table football and Xbox, like your typical youth club. We just have to make sure that everybody's all right, and we offer like food and drink and stuff, and it all goes good. And it's just a little bit different, so I enjoy it definitely. But I do, like I say, prefer my youth music stuff, obviously. And then I came home, and the layman linked me, and we just briefly got a drink and we had a little chat. And he said, "Look, I've got to pop and do something, and then I might pop to yours in a little bit." So I said, "All right, cool, that's all good." So I came home and I'm chilling on FL Studio. I'm not doing too much, to be fair. I plugged my wires in and tested a live stream and all of that good stuff. Went live on Facebook. I'm gonna do some on YouTube as well. So keep an eye out for that. And then literally I get a little my buzzer rings for the flat. It's Layman, easy, bro. It's only me. Think, oh, all right, you're back quite quick. So I buzzed him up and came up, and it actually surprised me. And believe it or not, he'd actually brought a friend round to come and see me in my new flat. And I was proper excited. I was proper made up. It like really, I thought like, oh, this is really nice. So we just got music playing. We just had a little bit of a laugh, and we just had a little bit of fun, and it just really made for an enjoyable sort of like Friday night. And then we set off, went out, and we took her home, and then came back home, and I went to bed. But it was a really enjoyable Friday night. It was just something that was a little bit different. It was nice. It was nice for me because when I lived at the shared house, I wasn't allowed to have people round. Although there was other residents in that house that had people round, it was kind of like, do you know what? Like, it just they had people round when they shouldn't. But I thought like I just aren't gonna risk it. I'm just keeping myself squeaky clean. And in all fairness, like, with the state of the shared house, like I wouldn't want to bring somebody round. Like, I'm not being funny, but the place looks so disgusting. And especially like if I brought somebody up to what was my bedroom, and they had to go past the hallway, and they had to go past the person's room in the shared house who didn't like me. Like, it would just put people off, like who would actually want to come here. Do you know what I mean? And like the bathroom just absolutely stunk. And yeah, I mean that's another story. I'm just so glad to be out of there. So it was really nice that I could actually have people round, and I could actually you know be all right, and just have my own little space, and say, look, you can't, you can come in when you want, and yeah, you come down, and come over, and we'll do some stuff, and it was a really good thing. So, so that was good. And then Saturday was all about raving. So yeah, so Saturday I made a last minute decision. Well, I kind of made the last minute decision on Friday night, but on Saturday I decided that I was going to go along with the layman to Let's Have It. So Let's Have It was putting an event on at Park Hall in Chorley, which is just outside of Manchester, and it was the final Let's Have It at the Park Hall. So the Park Hall is unfortunately closing down. It's no longer going to be staying open. I think there's like an event happening there next weekend, and it's like the final kind of like old school event that's taking place there. So little bit of a shame. Well, a real shame when I tell you how good the venue was. So we went to that event, absolutely packed lineup. the Blackout Crew, they were performing live, and that was such a like excitement and such a buzz, because if you have been following me on the channel for a while, you'll know that the Blackout Crew, they played like a massive part in my childhood. I bought their first album. I was a big fan of theirs back in the day. I did streams and spoke about them on YouTube when they sort of announced it was coming back, and when they released Won't Forget You, and I kind of got behind it, and I was like, it was so good that they were coming back, and I was so buzzed at finally getting the chance to see them live. Um, and I also got the chance to see the Bounce Assassins live, which was such a pleasure, because I rate a lot of their tunes that they've released, and I've kind of followed them for quite a while and commented and shared on a lot of their tracks, and it was nice to meet them. And I got to meet them, and I got to speak to them, and they were actually like really sound, down to earth people. And I didn't actually think they'd like. I thought, yeah, they might know who I am, but I didn't think they'd like recognize me as much as they recognize me. And there was like, you're a sound guy, you're a down to earth guy, and all the rest of it. And anyway, cutting the story short, it was so nice to meet them. And then there was a stacked lineup of like DJs and artists. There was Hannah Taylor, DJ Rome, there was Ultra Beat, there was KB Project, there was Ricky Gray. There was loads of people. There's even a female vocalist singing live, which was really good. That was happening as well, and it was just a proper real buzz to kind of go to. It was my first time at the Park Hall, but sadly, it'll be the last with it closing down. But I kind of feel like, kind of like honoured that I got to go to the Park Hall, like before it shut down, because what a vibe it was. The place just filled up and filled up and filled up and filled up, and like you wouldn't believe, the place just got absolutely rammed. There was just people after people after people coming into that place, and by sort of halfway through the first set, the place was just absolutely heaving. The first DJ was playing to a packed out club, and it just continued to get busy and busy, and it was just a really busy. It was just a really good vibe. The only thing that I would have said about the whole entire event. And I don't like to pick at events, because I'm quite a positive person, and this is by no means as such me picking at the event, but sort the heating out. It gets so warm in them places, and I know it's not always necessarily the event promoter's fault. I know sometimes like venues they say no, we're not doing it. But it was like an absolute greenhouse in there. The place was so stuffy. There was like just under 4,000 people in this club, like no word of a lie. And there was no aircon, there was no fans, there was no air conditioning, there was nothing and then you'd go outside, and it'd be like really, really cold out there, like bitter cold, like a proper cold wind, and that would hit you. And the thing about it is like that is no good for people. That you can get ill from that if you go out of a really sort of like warm environment, and you just instantly go into like a freezing cold environment, like because your body temperature is changing so fast, it can actually make you ill. And that was like literally the case. Like you'd be absolutely sweating inside, like to the point where you needed to go out and get air, but then you'd go outside and you'd be absolutely freezing to the point where you needed to go back inside to warm up. But you'd go inside, and the heat just instantly hits you. Like you can feel, and as you get closer to the dance floor, you can feel the heat coming at you. The heat's just coming towards you, and it was it was honestly like it wasn't good battling with the heat. But like apart from that, the event was just absolutely banging. Now onto the Blackout Crew. So obviously I followed them for years. It was an absolute privilege to get the chance to see them. perform live. And I've got to be completely and truthfully honest that I wasn't fully keen on the performance. The performance for me wasn't as good as I expected it to be. Like I thought, like this is the Blackout crew here. So I thought, like, all right, fair enough. I completely understand and I completely get that they've lost a couple of members along the way. You know, some members that were originally in the group. You know, they're doing different things now. You know, I know one of them went into the army or the navy or something. And I know another one just settled down with a family and kind of thought like, yeah, no, I'm sort of happy as I am. And I know a new member kind of sort of jumped up and sort of came on board. But I just thought the general kind of like performance was kind of like, it was kind of shocking. No offences, but it was kind of like it was a little bit all over the place to start with, and I kind of felt like they didn't really know what they was doing, and also at the same time, they didn't really stay on stage for that long. And I just kind of thought like they would have done. I thought they would have done stuff like Ravers Binge, and I thought they would have done something, some of the other stuff and played like some of the other tracks, and just kind of acknowledged, some of the old stuff that they did. And as for Put a Donk on It, they started with the Put a Donk on It, and at first it was really good, and I thought, wow, this is sick. But they didn't do half of the track even. Like they did the first little chorus, and then they did Cover's kind of first verse, and then they went back into the chorus, and then that was kind of it. And I thought, doesn't like Viper have a verse in that track? And then they went into some tracks that weren't even Blackout Crew tracks. Like there was a remix of like Zombie Nation, and they kind of just, it was a little bit like they played Put a Donk on It, and then it was kind of like Yanis G, who was DJing for them. It was kind of like he was going into like a set, and then it was like, oh, they were kind of like MCing on a set, and then all of a sudden like it just stopped the music, and then they pardon, and then they talk on the mic like, this is our new track, get behind this one, and then they'd play the track, and then I don't know, for me, I just wasn't all that. Oh God, you're just gonna have to bear with me. Okay, we are back. We are back. Yes, I am still in my pajamas as well. I had to blow my nose, unfortunately. So yeah, it was just I felt a little bit like it was a little bit all over the place, and kind of like the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. And in all fairness, it was a little bit of a disappointment. Like it was still good, and I was still like buzzed that I got the chance to see him. But I think I just had all these expectations in my mind, like when thinking of going to see them, like they're gonna do like Ravers Binge, and like bust it up a level, and then they do. You like I knew they'd do the new ones, and I obviously fully wanted them to do the new ones, but I just thought, like, even if it was just like two tracks, they'd have just like acknowledged and thrown in like maybe two of the classics. Like I was a big fan of the like bust it up a level and stuff, and I just thought that they might maybe just acknowledge that track and do something, or maybe like the dialed or something like that, but it was still an experience to see them. So I didn't get in until like going up for 6 this morning, and I've just been like really just tired all day, like no energy. And I think that's obviously because I had such a busy week with moving into this new flat, and then kind of like still going to work and still doing other things, and did a live performance at Gig Buddies on Tuesday, and kind of like everything just kind of, um, what can I say? Everything just kind of, had so much happening, so much going on that it just kind of like, oh, well, so much is happening that I just kind of, just have now felt really tired because I've obviously just been so busy through the week. So that is the weekend antics. I've got a live stream tonight on the Crazy Chaos page in about an hour. So I am going to go and put my phone on charge. I'm going to turn my heating down because it's started to warm up in here quite a lot now. And I know when I start doing a live and getting a little bit energetic, I will start to sweat. So I'll turn it down, and I'm trying to kind of like not go crazy like with the heating and stuff because I don't want to be paying like a massive bill for it. We have to check our meter readings and then we have to pay like a gas and electric bill. So depending how much I use, like I'm not entirely sure, kind of, like sort of how much I'm gonna be be spending, but I'm trying to like limit it. So like if I feel really cold, I'll whack the heating on for a little bit, but then when I warm up, I'll kind of turn it off and I'll leave it off for ages because it takes a while for it to cool down again. And then like if I'm gonna sort of like dry some clothes or something like that, then I'll whack the heating on, or say like if it feels a bit cold and I'm gonna go for a shower, then I'll just kind of like whack the heating back on, and then kind of like as for the gas, which I suppose that is kind of like for the heating as well, isn't it? That is obviously the thing. And then as for the electric, like I'm trying like to like turn plug sockets off when I'm not using them. So like if I'm going out to work and stuff, I don't leave things on standby like the microwave and the cookers. I know obviously like the fridge that has to stay on at all times, but I'm trying to like I've got a little bedside lamp and that, or the socket that's plugged into, like when I'm not using it, like I turn the switch off, and then when I'm not on the decks and stuff, I turn all the plugs off at the walls, and same with the computer. And I just try and make sure that I'm keeping everything, so when I'm not using stuff, it's not on. Yesterday, I did unfortunately and accidentally leave my bathroom light on the whole time I was at the event. And it's stuff like that that I don't want to do. Like it's all right if you accidentally do it once because you're not gonna spend too much like just accidentally doing it once. But if I do it all the time, like it'll start to add up. Like if I've just got the light constantly on, like it will add up. Whereas if I keep sort of remembering to turn it off and not leaving it on, it should be a good thing. So anyway, that is going to do it for this one. Make sure to like, comment, share. We'll be back with some more streams very soon.